guys, Chad here with the Soccer Mom Off-Road channel, and today I am your host for day 2 of our Carson River Overland adventure. Before we get started with the trip, I want to really quickly introduce you to our crew. First up, we have Brian, Expedition Leader. He's driving his 1994 80 Series Toyota Land Cruiser. Next up, we have Jeremy. Jeremy is driving his 1996 80 Series Lexus Land Cruiser. Next up, we have Brandon driving his 1987 Suzuki Samurai. And last up is me, and I'm driving my 2004 GX470, affectionately known as Soccer Mom. All right, let me bring you up to speed with day 1. Day 1 did not start exactly as we had planned. Jeremy had some trouble with his radiator, but once we got that taken care of, we were on our way to the Carson River. Now I have to say, we took the Barney Riley Trail as our route to the Carson River, and that is a great trail. It's got just about everything. Rocks, ruts, mud, creeks, you name it, it's there. The only thing we didn't hit on that trail was snow. But we took care of that on day 2. Now, not only did the beginning of our trip not go as planned, but the end of day 1 did not go as planned either. Our goal was to get to the Carson River, to the hot tubs, and make camp. In fact, we didn't even plan on this being an overland adventure so much as a car camping trip to the Carson River. But adventure has a mind of its own. When we got to Bryant Creek, one of the creek crossings, we found that the creek was too deep for any of us to comfortably cross. So we made camp on the banks of Bryant Creek, had a great time together. And now, day 2 starts with some breakfast and us deciding what our next course of action is. So, this morning we're doing a parfait. I had planned to do that on my second morning, but my fridge started freezing things. Not everything, but anything that was touching the outside. And so I bumped the temperature up this morning, and I just thought, you know what, before my fruit gets thrashed, we're gonna do the parfait this morning. I'll have oatmeal tomorrow. So got a nice little breakfast of, we got strawberries, blueberries. I had some bananas, but I think they have frozen and are a disaster. So I'm gonna cut them open and see what they look like, but I don't have a lot of hope at this point. Anyhow, we've got strawberries, blueberries, some Greek yogurt, and some granola, and that will do it for me for this morning. Oh, and some sausage for a little bit of more protein. The yogurt has plenty of protein, but we're going to add some more with some sausage. So anyway, it should be a great breakfast. But we've already had some interesting challenges. I set my plastic pour over on my stove. Why, I don't know. But I set it on the far left portion, the burner that I was not using. I had not fired it up. I was using the other side to heat up some water for coffee. And I turn around and it's on fire and melting on my stove, and so now I've lost my pour over. Thankfully, Brian has a French press that I can use, but I am very sad. I really like that pour over because you could see underneath into the cup to know what your level was, and then know if you need to add more water or not. So it is a day of mourning and a day of sadness this morning. I might bury it. Probably not. That's not okay in the National Forest. But I'll have a service in mourning for my pour over. Anyhow, gonna get some parfait going here and enjoy a great breakfast as we sit together and decide what we're gonna do. The stream has gone down. The question is, by the time we get up tomorrow and are ready to head out, will it have risen again to the point where we're kind of stuck on the other side? So we're talking and trying to figure out what exactly we want to do, and then we'll go from there. Okay. As Brian dipped the nose of his cruiser into that creek, it was obvious to us that this was not a creek that we were going to cross on this trip. Now you may be thinking, that doesn't look that deep, I could cross it. And maybe you could, but we didn't feel comfortable. In fact, later in the day, we ran into some locals on side-by-sides who told us that in lesser water, they have seen vehicles thrust into the bushes on the other side of Brian's rig. So we feel, in hindsight, that we made the right decision. So we got together and decided we were going to opt for plan B.
I got out there, want to go with 3.5.
So we decided to leave our campsite in search of more adventure and another campsite. And we are going to try to get down into the Carson River campsite where the hot tubs are via a different route. And so we're just cruising on, but there's been some really great wheeling in here. Not the Rubicon by any means, but really great wheeling in here. Lots of fun. Rocky trail. Constantly have to watch your line and make sure that you're, picking the right line and not running into a fallen tree or rocks. It's just been really great. So we're hitting a main dirt road here and going to make some other connections and see if we can't get down and get to our spot. So on our trek to get around the area that we're trying to get to. Anyway, we've hit snow, significant snow. We're going past the what's called the Leviathan mine, and they plow it or snow blow it up to the mine so they can access it. But this is where the plowing stops, and it's significant. So basically the Legolas of our group, the one who treads lightest on the snow, the Samurai, is airing down to snow pressure, which is probably like 1 pound. And he's going to see if he can get over it. Then the land tank, Brian's 80 series, then Jeremy, and then me. And we'll see if we can't get where we want to go. Okay, so at this point, we have been stopped on the trail. And now we're just trying to get Brian and the Iron Pig extracted. And then we'll head down to a campsite we saw next to a really pretty creek. So that's what our agenda is right now. All right, so we have been defeated by the snow and have decided that it's time for lunch. So we've got this really amazing spot next to this creek, and this may be our lunch spot, but it also may be our camp spot for the night. But wheeling from our first campsite through that terrain up here on the snow, getting extracted from the snow, coming back here, we've kind of had our feel of adventure for the day, and we are ready to kind of just settle down. So if this is only a temporary spot for us, it's a pretty nice spot to spend for lunch. Well, guys, we did not end up scouting out the other campsite or anything. We sat around after lunch talking and laughing and just relaxing, and then decided, you know what, we are too lazy to look for any other campsites. This campsite is amazing. It is right on the banks of a creek that is just ripping through here. It is full of snow melt, and it is just beautiful. It's shaded. It is really close to the road, but we've seen one, maybe two cars. So we're not really worried about a lot of intrusion from traffic. So we've made camp. We've set up our tents and our sleep platforms. We've got our kitchen ready, and we've got our wood processed. Burn barrel all situated right on the banks of the creek. And it is going to be a great night hanging out together, eating some great food, laughing, having some great conversation, and then being lulled to sleep by the sounds of this creek. So we're really looking forward to it. Well, things didn't exactly go according to plan on day 2, but we wouldn't change a thing. It was a great day. Now, if you're still watching at this point, I'd ask you to do me a huge favor and hit the like button right below this screen. That lets YouTube know that this video is worth suggesting to others. And if you want to catch day 3 coming up next week, make sure you subscribe. All right, as always, we'll see you again on the trail and adventure on.